Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks news show. Today, I've got another of my In the News shows. It's Monday, the 13th of February, 2023, and I'm going to get right into the news today. I'll talk a little bit about the gold and silver action later in the show. The first news release that I'm going to talk about is Sabina Silver, Gold and Silver. They announced that they've received an offer. B2 Gold announces acquisition of Sabina Gold and Silver Corp. B2 Gold has agreed to acquire all of the issued and outstanding shares of Sabina. The transaction will result in B2 Gold acquiring Sabina's 100% owned Back River Gold District in Nunavut, Canada. The Back River Gold consists of 5 mineral claims along an 80-kilometer belt. Most advanced in the district is the Goose Zone. It's fully permitted, construction ready, and has been de-risked with significant infrastructure currently in place. Under the terms of the transaction, B2 Gold will issue 0.3867 of a common share of B2 Gold for each Sabina common share held, representing consideration of Canadian $1.87 per Sabina shares on a fully diluted basis. I don't think the shareholders were too happy about that because of the Sabina, because it is trading below that, about 10 cents below that takeover price. And it looks like a bit of a take under if you look at the average trading volume over the last 3 or 4 years as they've been de-risking it. I would guess that a lot of shareholders are underwater here. Another sign that it's a bit of a take under is if you look at the strategic rationale for B2 Gold. And I'm not going to go over all this, but I will show you. Look at the list here. Adds a high-grade, fully permitted, construction-ready gold project in Nunavut. Feasibility. Goose has been de-risked. Will leverage B2 Gold's in-house construction, enhanced operational and geographic diversification by combining B2 Gold's stable production base with high-grade advanced development asset in a Tier 1 mining jurisdiction. They talk about the scarcity of these kind of projects, significant upside, significant untapped exploration potential across the 80-kilometer belt with several points about that. Opportunity to optimize development of Back River with a stronger balance sheet. More points immediately and meaningfully grows B2 Gold's attributable mineral reserves and resources base. They talk about the proven and probable, measured and indicated and inferred, leverages B2 Gold's strong financial position and robust free cash flow with more points. Then there's a nice big quote by Clive Johnson, who's the president and CEO of B2 Gold, and we'll go into that. But then you kind of look at the benefits to Sabina shareholders, and there's only about 5 points. When you see that kind of, it looks like an overwhelming strategic deal for B2 Gold than it is for the Sabina shareholders. It wouldn't surprise me when you have this much of an overwhelming argument for the buyer, not the seller. It is suggestive that it's a take under, and it wouldn't surprise me if there's a enhanced bid, possibly by B2 Gold or maybe a second bidder. One of the names that's been bandied about is Agnico Eagle. The reason that's been talked about is they're very experienced in Nunavut. So yeah, maybe it's a possibility. Who knows? We'll see. But on a bigger point, it is important to understand that, when you're in the early days of a gold bull market, oftentimes you'll see this consolidation happen. We saw it last week with Newmont making a run at Newcrest. And now on the smaller end of things, that was the largest gold producer in the world, taking over the sixth largest. This is a smaller gold mining company with B2 Gold and a smaller junior with what looks like a very good project. I mean, it's got a handsome grade. Looks like it could be a long-lived mine, but wasn't the greatest of deals for the Sabina shareholders. I think it's a better deal for the B2 Gold shareholders. But time will tell if another bidder comes in. All right, so now we'll move on to the juniors, which are the ones that I like the most. And I'm going to share my screen here to Dynasty Gold. They're a sponsor of my show. And Dynasty Gold clarifies understated thundercloud assay results. They underreported the grade actually, and quite substantially. The core sampling intervals of 189 to 198 meters in drill hole DP22-02 were reported earlier as 9 meters of 15 grams of gold, including 3 meters of 43.47. The corrected values are 9 meters of 22.58 grams per ton, so almost a third or about a quarter of an ounce. Not an insignificant understatement, and 3 meters of 65.2 grams. So you're tagging on an extra 22 grams there, so about 3/4 of an ounce. That's a very good change in the numbers. The interval of 118 to 121 in drill hole DP 2203 was reported as 101 grams, whereas over 3 meters, whereas the correct value is 151.65 grams. Quite a substantial increase in there. And if you look at that on a gram meter basis, you're looking at, instead of 301, you're looking at 450. That's some really nice changes to the grade. I'm really impressed with this project because I think that they're at the top of an orogenic gold system and already hitting bonanza grades. And as they get deeper into these orogenic gold systems, they tend to go on for several thousands of meters. As you get deeper in the system, you get more and more coarse grain gold as you get closer to the heat engine, and the grade tends to go up quite significantly. But they're already in the first 150 meters getting the bonanza grade stuff, which is quite impressive. The best intersection that they mentioned down here is that the highest assay of 246 grams per ton gold over 1.5 meters of core length. Pretty impressive stuff. And again, I believe that this company is on the at the top of a orogenic gold system, and as they get down deeper, it will only get more and more exciting. But this is a substantial change to the actual grades that were understated when they first put the news release out. The news release is on January 10th and January the 16th. So this is a project you want to take a close look at. In fact, I just did a show this past weekend. Let me pull that up so you can I'll give you the date. It was on Walker River. Where is it? Sorry, I'm just trying to find it here. Maybe it was a few days ago that I did that Dynasty Gold one. Oh, I'm having troubles finding it at the moment. Sorry about that. But Nonetheless, it definitely is a significant change and a really significant to the good direction, not an understate. They're not having to roll those grades back. They rolled them up pretty dramatically. All righty. Next company up is Nevada King. Nevada King Gold Corp announced that they intersected 2.31 grams per ton gold over 71 meters in oxide mineralization, 200 meters north of the Atlanta pit. This one's been coming on my radar screen more and more regularly because, you know, oxide discoveries in Nevada are not that easy to find. A lot of them have been sort of picked over very well in the last few years. And this is a very good oxide gold deposit with some very handsome grades. And you're looking at a pretty substantial increase to the resource. Here's the resource area, the historical resource, and this is where they're adding ounces, and it's quite dramatically bigger than what they've talked about, or what that historic or that past resource is indicated. They got zones here, 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 and here. And how they seems to be lining up quite nicely. There was a good quote in here from Cal Heron, who's the exploration manager of Nevada King, who stated, and I quote, "Meadow Bay made a significant high-grade gold discovery with its 2011 and 2012 drilling of the Northwest Target Zone, advancing where they left off. Section 22-16N confirms connection of gold mineralization from the Meadow Bay intervals eastward to the AMFZ. Nevada King's fence drilling across the southern end of the Atlanta mine fault along sections 22-5N, 22-6N, and 22-8N demonstrate the importance of the AMFZ with respect to controlling thick zones of mineralization within the volcanic section west of the fault, as well as higher grade mineralization on both sides of the fault. Follow-up drilling will allow for a better understanding of both the structural geometry and distribution of higher grade mineralization, as well as defining the bottom to the mineralization. Drilling has been active on adjacent parallel sections, and that new results are anticipated shortly, which will allow us to further refine our modeling of grade distribution in the Northwest Target Zone. Looking back at the drilling done from our start in May 2021 to today, the one characteristic that remains constant from hole to hole throughout the entire system is the consistent and contiguous nature of the gold mineralization seen in the drill intervals. Grade distribution is generally even and does not fluctuate greatly from sample to sample in the drill intervals. Even with the high-grade intervals, gold values increase and decrease in a steady and even manner. In my experience, this type of grade consistency is generally the hallmark of a strong and well-developed gold system. As it stands right now, we do not know how deep the gold mineralization extends at Atlanta, nor do we know what the lateral boundaries of gold mineralization are. Knowing we are drilling into a strong gold system without knowing what the lateral and vertical limits on the system are, we can only imagine what is possible at Atlanta as we move into the 2023 exploration season, end quote. So predictability, consistent, contiguous, gold mineralization, not a lot of ups and downs. That's the kind of stuff that makes for a very good oxide gold mine. The reason that these are kind of hard to come across in Nevada is because that's been a major focus of the big mining companies for the last 40 or 50 years, is these oxide gold deposits. So finding new ones in Nevada, or at least expanding on a known resource quite dramatically, and finding new mineralization is an important company to keep an eye on. And their stock symbol is NKG. They trade on the Venture Exchange. So yeah, there you go. There was a few companies in the news today. Just wanted to talk about those quickly. And as always, my shows are for information purposes only. Important for you to speak with your financial advisors before making any investment decisions. And as always, I really stress that doing the homework. Understand the companies you invest in, why you're investing in them, give them, make logical decisions about them. And I'm sure you're going to find some real good performance in your investments in the mining sector or any sector for that matter. On that note, have a great day and we'll talk to you soon.